I'm Davie.
I'm Misti.
DM
Unscripted.
Unedited.
Unapologetic.
Let's get it. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? I am Davie.
I'm Misti.
And welcome to another episode of DM Watts. Welcome. This is going to be a special episode for us, right?
It is a special episode. It's the afternoon.
Yes.
School special.
Yeah. Oh, however you want to look at it, the afternoon school specials. But so as we told you guys before that we were going to be doing some special episodes, and we actually got a request from AJ to do a.
AJ.
How you doing, AJ? He wanted us to do an episode talking about TADSAW.
Yeah. Well, it's not even just TADSAW. It's talking about the process of getting a service animal.
A service animal.
Yeah.
And the TADSAW is the organization that we actually went through.
Yeah. And we're going to speak about it on our terms.
Right.
What we went through, what we had to go through. And it's not going to be that way for everybody.
True.
But this is just our experience with it. And like I had said a few weeks ago, we wanted to do a series of specials because we've been through a lot.
Yeah.
And we want to just share our experience with it. It's not a fishbowl topic. It's our experience with certain things, getting a service animal, VA, retirement.
Yeah, all
of it.
All within the span of a few months.
All
right?
of it. and so I wanted, we have a voice. We want to use it.
Absolutely.
To share our experience with everything.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the first one.
Yep.
So thank you, AJ.
Thanks for AJ for requesting this topic.
And pushing us to actually do it.
Yep. So this topic is on service animals. So specifically with us, we have a service animal, pit bull boxer.
She's a pit dog.
Yeah, pit bull boxer mix. But you guys may have heard us talk about Nala before.
Yes.
She is our service animal. The organization we went through to get her is called TADSAW. It stands for Train a Dog, Save a Warrior. And the person we go through is Bart Sherwood. He is an amazing person, amazing individual. This is an amazing organization, to tell you the truth. And what TADSAW...
And it's nation... I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, babe.
But it's a nationwide organization. And it is for veterans, retirees, active duty, and even their family members, that he does that. But I want us to go back before we get into Bart. Woo!
It happens.
It's been a day.
Yeah.
It's been a long day.
It's all good.
Before we get to that, I want us to go through the process of knowing that it was time for a service animal, that it was something we wanted to look at. We had some stuff going on. You had things going on.
Right.
And we were in the process of retiring.
Right. And we're in the process of retiring, and the status of our retirement is a medical retirement. So because of that, because of certain things that was going on, one of the things that was brought up to me, actually, I believe was brought up to me by my therapist. No, it's by my Wounded Warrior representative. Actually, is what it was.
Well, it was brought up to you before your wife first.
Well, yes, obviously.
And then we got the dog. And the wife was trying to get other people involved, but they weren't.
Right.
There's organizations out there, and I'm sure they're great, and that's just our area. But they either weren't calling back, or they were very snippet in the way they were speaking to me. And you don't speak to me that way. And so it was like, no, you know what? So this is what we're going to do. If we have to train her ourselves, we have to. We got her, and that's when we found out, because we didn't know at the time you were going to be medically retired with a status of Wounded Warrior.
Right. So we were trying to get her trained through another organization out here. There's another organization out here where we stay in good old Kansas that works with service animals. But like I said, we didn't have much luck with these guys.
No.
Couldn't get them on the phone, and it wasn't a good fit. Yeah,
it didn't work for us.
It didn't work for us.
Not saying it wouldn't work for anybody else.
Right. So we ended up getting Nala from the Humane Society. And the thing with Nala was that they were already using Nala at the Humane Society they would take her to nursing homes. She was so well behaved. that they took her to nursing homes to visit, you know, the
And
elderly.
but that, I mean, obviously for us, we're like, okay, God, we hear you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, the goal was find a dog we connected with,
of course,
that we could have trained.
Right. And so we immediately connected with.
We did. And then we got her.
Right.
But then you were contacted out of the blue.
Right.
Neither one of us knew he was going to be a wounded warrior. That was the furthest thing from our mind. We thought it was an organization outside of, you know, the Wounded Warrior Project, I think, is what everybody hears, not realizing there's a Wounded Warrior status.
Right. There's Wounded Warrior status that the military can give you. And that's not our, obviously, experience was through the Air Force, but every branch, it's not branch specific. It is, hey, no, Wounded Warrior status, period. And because of that, when we ended up getting our Wounded Warrior status, the Air Force sends that out. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, person is going to be a Wounded Warrior. And they actually contacted us, and an individual from the Wounded Warrior program, and said, hey, I'm sending you a bunch of information on a lot of different things. A lot of stuff.
Everything, anything and everything you can think about, and we're gonna go into that on another special. That's
another special. But one of the things he sent me was about TADSAW. That's what the folder was called. It's TADSAW. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, he said, hey, look into this. He said, hey, are you thinking about a service animal? I said, yeah. Well, I just got a dog. Are you thinking about getting a trained service animal? I said, well, yeah, actually, I was trying to do that. He said, look it up. So the folder had it's called TADSAW. Train a dog, save a warrior. Mm-hmm. And I actually got in touch with Bart Sherwood, is down at TADSAW. So you guys can look up TADSAW. That's TADSAW. And Bart Sherwood is 210-643-2901.
And we cleared it with him.
He actually
because he's nationwide. Yeah, he was nationwide. Like, I'd be angry if you didn't.
Yep. So Bart, this one's for you. So Bart Sherwood got down in good old Texas. Runs with this organization called TADSAW. And when you get in contact with him, he'll let you know, hey, I just need you to get a few things filled out.
Yeah, and he'll send you the packet. It's very simple. So whether you have a dog or don't have a dog, Bart is here to help you with all of that. And he's then there to help you with the training of it. He has people that work for him, is a
liaison between
there you go.
Him and TADSAW and the individual themselves.
And Davie was active duty when this was happening.
Right.
And so the packet is not a huge packet.
Nope. It is.
It's very simple to fill out. There's a few things though that he requests.
Right. And so one of the things he requests is obviously a recommendation from your therapist or whoever, your doctor, that says, hey, this person would benefit from a service dog.
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop there too. It's
and it's just a simple.
It's very simple.
Because of being in the military, your therapist and your flight doctor work side by side. So, and it's the same anywhere else. I mean, obviously your doctor and your therapist are going to share records. So we had to have like a prescription from flight medicine. Right.
So our primary care doctor had to basically sign off prescriptions saying, hey, prescribing a service dog.
Yeah.
And it, it's kind of a thing that he looked at me like, wait, what? It's like, it all comes in the packet. All he has to do is fill it out. Like, okay, sure.
He just had to sign it and check off. And then the therapist wrote a recommendation letter, very short, one short paragraph. Hey, I believe this would be a good fit.
Right. And then I think my commander had to sign it. But
so the only reason why the commander, though, had to sign it is because
I was still active duty at the time.
You were active duty at the time, and you were at work. And in order to bring the animal on base, we had to have the signature of the commander, and that he said it was okay. Right. And every base, I don't care what branch you're in, you're going to have, if you're active duty, you're going to have that signature from the commander. Just like in the civilian world, you'd have to have that sign off from a boss. Right.
And one of the things which, my leadership just was extremely supportive.
They were.
So I got that signed off fairly easy. Got everything that I needed with that. And I sent it all to Bart. And it took maybe not even, I don't even think it took a week
Mm-mm.
before Bart had sent my name off to an individual here in Wichita and was like, this is who you'll be working with. And one of the things that we hadn't mentioned is what everybody needs to understand, that this is free.
It is, and
this is free.
That's the great thing about TADSAW and what Bart has worked tirelessly to do. His TADSAW is the one that pays for it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to get her training, and
Right.
we're continuing the training. We're almost there.
Yeah.
We just got a few more things we got to get
Right.
sorted out, and
She's
it's
still
more
a little
us
stubborn.
than it is her. Trust me, it's the human, not the dog.
Yeah, it's still a little stubborn.
But he takes care of that. And again, people, this is nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you're a service member or a retiree,
Right.
and let's say your child has
like special needs,
autism or anything,
mm-hmm.
and you would benefit, or the child would benefit from a service dog, or your spouse.
Exactly.
TADSAW is there to help you.
TADSAW covers all. It's
Yep.
not just for the individual. Like she said, it will cover your spouse, covers your dependent with special needs, and they said it specifically with autism, but that's from a specific level. But they cover other ones too. But they cover all that. And so I've ran into a few military or veterans who have wondered, like, hey, how did you get that? And here's the process. But like I said, there's no fee for TADSAW. And one of the things that I'd also like to touch on is that although there's no fee, clearly they do accept donations, because it's donations that keep them going to able to offer the service for free.
True organization.
Right.
It's not for research. It's not for awareness.
Nope.
Bart could actually use the help. So if you got $1 or $2 or $20, please send it to TADSAW.
Please send it to TADSAW. It's now we know that there probably are other organizations out there.
Of course. But again, this is our experience.
Exactly.
And this is what we're going through, and we continue to go through it.
Right.
And we have the most fantastic trainer for
she's
our
very
dog.
Amazing.
She's amazing.
Yep.
And Jan is everything.
Our Aunt Jan.
And Aunt Jan. And she works out of I know the name of it. Family Dog. I'm gonna look it up while we're talking.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
She works out of there, but she works for TADSAW directly. She works with veterans. That is her passion. That is what she loves to do. Her husband is a retired military member and currently works at the VA.
Yep.
And this is their heart, and it's just amazing who Bart has as representatives for TADSAW.
Right. And so one of the things that we will say, that will help her and you, for those who are listening, at least from our perspective, dealing up here in the Kansas area, she requires that you have a dog 2 years or younger.
Yes.
And it's as simple as the dog has to go through a few tests.
Yeah.
And then to make sure the dog is not aggressive and is acceptable to training. And from there, it just goes from there. And our dog is, wow, she's a godsend. And so, but I will tell you that this is probably one of the smartest and this is the most helpful things that has happened to us, that we've done since, just about leaving the military. But it's helped a lot. It helps a lot.
When you get a service dog, this is it. So there's two types of dogs,
right,
or animals. There's a service dog, and there's an emotional support animal. Nala is being trained as a service dog. She does more than just alert you to your emotion. She alerts you to anything that is going wrong.
Right.
With you.
Right. And she's very in tune. She's very in tune with
anybody that gets in the car.
Emotions. So if you got high anxiety, she alerts to everybody. It doesn't matter who it is.
She gonna come after you.
Yep. So, but also when it comes to service animals in general, the ADA has your back.
They do. Yeah. They do. People don't have your back, but the ADA does.
The ADA has your back on so many levels.
Because we knew we were going to do this.
Yeah, we looked up some stuff.
We made sure, even though we knew, some of the laws because of Jan. And we have had people, you have specifically had people come up to you when we've had Nala out at the mall. We had an
Yeah.
issue.
Yes, and so we were at the mall doing training,
Yeah.
and this is for those who are nervous about, hey, I'll get kicked out of a store or whatever. What if they don't like my dog and so on? So the thing about it, we were at the mall actually, and we were doing training, and we had a actual mall cop come up, and
We'll call him Paul Bart.
yeah, we'll call him Bart, whatever. But he actually came up and was like, hey, do you know what you're doing with that animal? And my trainer, before I was able to even respond. That's why we call her Aunt Jan. She's
just on it.
She's just a beast. She knows the laws, and you are not going to tell her anything differently.
Nope.
And so she's like, yes, we know. We are training. And he went into a full rant about how some people just bring in the dogs and they're not really service dog, and how another dog pooped somewhere and they had to. I was like, okay. My trainer's like, we don't care about that. That has nothing to do with us. And he was like, well, I know the law, and you have to show me the paper. So we don't got to show you anything.
I'm a security.
Yeah, you got to.
Good on you. You got a job. Not even making. It's just, if you don't know the law, and you can't say it verbatim, I don't want to hear your excuse as to why
exactly
my husband's service animal is not.
Yes.
Don't.
And so, long story short, we kept going on our business. She went home, looked up the law. Called the manager, wasn't it at the mall or whoever, whatever title she was at the mall.
She took care of it.
She let her know, like, what happened was illegal, and there was a mass briefing for all the staff at the mall on people with service animals.
Because and here's the other end of it: they can't ask for papers.
Mm-hmm.
It's called HIPAA.
Yep.
They can't. And yes, people abuse the frickin' system. Yeah. I get it. I understand that. Yes, we can buy her vest online. We did. Yes, we can get the patches online. We did. Because there's nothing around here that we can go buy the patch. But it doesn't mean that she is not a working animal. Right. I can become a minister online. I can do anything I want online. I'm going to school right now online.
Yes.
Why does that discount anything? And people need to instill that trust. And it's really disheartening with people just taking their animals out. I get really mad about it. I do. I get really mad.
Right. Well, people tend to abuse the system.
Everybody thinks their dog is trained.
Right. It's either or the parakeet or monkey or whatever else to decide.
There was because a service monkey at Hobby Lobby.
But that also goes into some other things from the ADA. The things we printed off some things right off from the ADA site.
I did.
Yes, you did see a service monkey. Yeah.
And I called him up and I said, we could have gotten a monkey. I could have a monkey. But no, we had to have a dog.
Hey, sorry. I'd rather the dog.
Me too. Because that thing would have ripped my face off.
Right. We actually went to the ADA site. Yeah. So you guys can go there also.
Back to it.
The ADA actually states that the only animal they recognize as a service animal is a dog.
And I didn't, honest to God, I didn't know that.
It says only dogs are recognized as service animals. Okay. You go. Let the dog out. Speaking of the dog, she had to leave to let the dog out. But the ADA recognizes dogs as service animals, believe it or not. Now, hey, that may have changed, but we pulled that straight from their website.
Just a few days ago.
And just a few days ago. And they said, hey, we recognize dogs as service animals. Not only that, like I said, coming straight from the ADA website, I'm going to read something straight off to you guys. Straight out the ADA website for those who are nervous about getting a service animal, like people may kick me out, or what if they ask me for this and ask me for this. So, it states, when it is not obvious what service an animal provides, only limited inquiries are allowed. Staff may ask two questions. Is a dog a service animal required because of a disability? And what work or task has the dog been trained to perform? Staff cannot ask about the person's ability, require medical documentation, require a special identification card, or training documentation for the dog, or ask that the dog demonstrates its ability to perform the work or task. Meaning, they cannot come up to you and say, let me see your paper saying that this is a service dog. Now, that also comes with a bit of common sense.
Sure.
Right? That comes with a bit of common sense. If your dog is, don't take this video as like, oh, I got the ADA back of me. No. Mm-hmm. If you go into a mall, Walmart, wherever, and your dog is jumping on people, pooping somewhere, peeing in the corner.
Or you've got it on a leash, but it's 15 feet away from you.
Exactly. That's where a lot of common sense come in. Animal. That's when they're going to come in and be like, look, you have to go.
Yeah.
You have to go. So, and actually the ADA goes into a little bit more. It says a person with a disability cannot be asked to remove his service animal from the premise unless the dog is out of control and the handler does not take effective action to control it, the dog is not housebroken, or when there is a legitimate reason to ask that a service animal be removed, staff must offer the person with disability the opportunity to obtain goods and services without the animal presence. In other words, just like we said, it's where the common sense come in. And it's like, look, if your dog is up there jumping on people, scaring everybody, barking at people, you know, peeing or pooping somewhere, or just doing stuff that a dog who's not housebroken would do.
That's an issue.
That's an issue.
It's just a dog that's not under your control by voice command or your command. Because here's the thing, a dog's going to be a dog. If a dog feels threatened, a dog is a dog.
Right.
But do you have the dog under control? And what kind of tripped me out about this was it's the same thing. I don't mean to go here, but at the same time, yes, I do. When we owned a bar,
right.
If ABC came in, okay, alcohol, whatever, I don't remember the acronym. Yeah. If they came in and there was an issue, if there was a fight, okay, and we as bartenders or we as owners didn't have it under control, we were going to get fined. We were going to get shut down that day until we had stuff under control, because that's the point. And if that's what bars have to go through, bartenders, servers, owners, then as an owner of a service animal, we should be held to the same standard.
Right. And there's a couple of other things on here. You bring up a valid point, baby. And there's a couple of other things on here too that, you know, you guys need to be aware of. You bring your service animal into it. Now, this has never happened to us, you know, but I'm sure it happens to people. Whereas you bring your service animal in, they're like, we're going to set you over here. You know what I mean? We're going to set you over. We're going to set you over here, where all the people are over here. They're not allowed to isolate you. They got to treat you just like any other person.
In fact, it's one of those, they need to literally ignore the animal.
Right. It's just, and so there's a lot of things that we want to. Yes, you got to let the dog back in. Service animals, but you know, but there's a lot of things that rights you will have that I don't think some people may know with a service animal. We actually saw a post up in Facebook. Our city has a local chatter that they have here in our city, and it was actually a post the other day about, hey, what's the rule about service animals? You know, and so, you know, definitely rest assured I'll be posting this on there when it comes to service animals. It's just like, hey, the ADA doesn't recognize emotional support animals, although each state is different. So you can look up your state where you are and what your state rules are on emotional support animals. But the rules for service animals, yeah, they remain the same through the ADA. And you can even file a complaint through the ADA if these people discriminate against you. And it is actually very serious when it comes down to it. And I will tell you that it has been a very great experience with us dealing with our service animal. But let's not also ignore the point of that you get pretty cool vests.
Okay, so, but let's not ignore the point that my husband, I said, if you buy her one more vest, I'm going to have to build her a closet. Yeah. And then we've got an issue. Mm-hmm. But I want to go down the rules here. The rules are they have to be identified. Again, can you buy them on? And that was a big thing in the Facebook post. Right. You know, it was like, how do you feel about the dog going to Walmart or your local, you know, grocery store? Mm-hmm. And so, of course, that sparks a discussion, which was a welcome discussion. And I appreciated seeing everybody in there talking about it. Right. But the biggest thing I took away from it was like, well, you can get the vest online. Yeah, well, I can also buy a TV online. Yeah. I bought this microphone online. I mean, I can get my hair color online. Yeah. It doesn't, what has that got to do with anything? The fact is they have to be clearly identified. Right. They have to wear some kind of vest. So this is like the first vest.
So if you're watching us on YouTube, we're holding up this vest here.
Just a little red. It's literally a strip of cloth for an olive.
And this one actually came from TADSAW.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, it was measured, and then once they got her measurements, they sent this vest for us.
And it has a really great patch on it, and it has pockets. Yep. But so that she can have her paperwork if someone wants to go there. Yep. I mean, if a police officer were to really press, but again, as her as your service animal. If a police officer was like, dude, no, seriously, like, can I just see?
Yeah.
You would be like, of
Yeah,
course.
Absolutely.
And
Like,
I'll show
hey,
you that in a second,
exactly.
you know, but it says, please don't pet me.
Yep.
I'm working.
Yep.
And that's a really big deal.
Right. And it's because the biggest thing you'll run into when training a dog is training the people around the dog, not training the dog.
You would be surprised how many people, even though she has these vests and these patches on that say, do not pet me, I'm in training.
Yep.
People will still, can I pet your dog? No.
No, you cannot.
She's working.
She is working.
And then how about the people that are just like, hey, baby.
Yep.
Hey, aren't you beautiful? Oh, come here, baby girl.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you don't talk to her either. Because if she's not paying attention to my husband, then she's not paying attention to what's happening to him or sensing if he's getting ready to have an episode or whatever. I need her eyes on him because she is me when I'm not around. The only difference is I bite. She doesn't. So it's true though.
Yeah, it's true, baby. You're right. She bites.
Nala doesn't bite.
So
I was trained not to bite, but I listened to my trainers. So you know, again, we have Patches, service dog in training.
Yep.
Don't touch me, I'm in training. And then she graduated, of course, to the service dog because she is almost there.
Again, yeah, she's almost there. But our trainer told us that, hey, go ahead and let her wear the service dog patch.
Yes.
But this is her vest that she puts on, and if some of you guys may be able to see that, hey, we real serious when it comes to these patches.
Well, and she has her camo.
Yeah, she has her camo.
She has her camo. And the one patch that I'm the proudest of is it says, serving those who served us, veteran service dog.
So, yeah, the thing is, if you're looking for a service dog, you know, like I said, whatever breed you want to do, get fine, go ahead.
There's no limit on that. It doesn't matter if it's a Chihuahua,
right, or whatever. But they recommend but they recommend at least 2 years or younger. I'm not sure if our trainer would work with anything over 2 years. She makes exceptions sometimes.
Yeah.
But 2 years or younger for a service dog because that's when they're at their prime to be trained. And you also get a card.
And I'm looking for it right now. So in one of her vests.
Is it in her vest? In the vest that we got?
It might be, but I carry one. Here it is.
Yeah.
I carry one in my wallet. Davey carries one in his.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have one in the truck.
Yep.
And one in the other vehicle.
Right.
We have one in her pouch.
Yep.
And then I have a couple more. Just because we have a tendency to lose things. Mm-hmm. But there is an identification card. Right. And yeah, again, I could print this out. I could have made this.
Yep.
And it just says who he is. It's a picture of him with the dog, the breed of the dog, the color of the dog, who the owner is, what her name is, and on the back is just a very simple ADA service dog law and the state law. And for Kansas, there's the ordinance, and then
but we'll probably post that up too. We're gonna post that up for those watching us on YouTube. We're gonna post all that up.
But I also saw people are like, well, they have to be registered with the ADA. No,
that's
no
not a thing. That's not. If it is a thing, that's not. That's not mandatory, and that's not mandatory. You know what I mean? So,
and clearly there are rules, and clearly there are rules that need to be more defined.
Exactly. Here's the thing: establishments cannot deny you because you have a service dog. That is law.
Including your workplace.
Including your workplace. So,
and that's a big one. People need to understand restaurants and none of that. You cannot deny a service animal.
Right.
And at the same time, anybody that needs a service animal, and especially, I'm going to speak to the veterans for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I get what admitting that you need a companion around you when your spouse or a friend or whoever isn't there with you, just to go to the store. I get what that is. I get what having that dog says to you, and I'm going to not get emotional here. But I understand that. And that's even people, my non-veteran listeners right now. That's admitting you have a problem. That's admitting it's not even a problem, but it's admitting that, hey, I need some extra help. And we have to get rid of that stigma. And we have to get rid of the stigma of animals or dogs not being able to be there for us, alert us to a physical condition, because our dogs alert me all the time if I'm going to have a bad pain day, if I'm going to have a migraine, they let me know. And I know how hard that is, but I promise you, on the other side of it, it is freeing to have that companion, to have that protection, to say, hey, I can go to the store by myself and I can do this because I have something there relying on me, and to keep my mind off of what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
It's a huge deal, and you can't let your pride stop you from getting that.
Absolutely. And so I will
it's
tell
simple.
you guys, I would
It's
tell you
simple.
guys, at least from a veteran's perspective, a military perspective, get it. Seriously get it. So for those who are wondering about the ADA, want more information, the ADA's number is 1-800-514-0301.
Or ADA.gov.
Or ADA.gov. And they also have a TTY line at 1-800-514-0383. So you guys give them a call if you got any other things about, hey, questions on, hey, it's not just about service animals. Like, hey, if you have a disability, you'd be surprised the amount of privileges that are allotted to you, because heck, we saw with this whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, ADA laws were thrown out, and it's like, no, that's not a thing.
And I'm one of those that I'm like, oh hell no.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm my husband's caregiver,
and that's that. So
you don't get to do that to me.
So we hope you guys enjoyed everything when it came to about service animals.
If we didn't cover, there's a lot of information on it.
There's a lot.
If you need clarity or want to write us, please do dmwattspodcast@gmail.com. We'll get you the answers, or we'll help you find them, or we'll ask our trainer, or if you want our trainer's number and all that, it's her personal cell, and I didn't feel right about putting it out there.
Of course.
TADSAW, we talked to Bart, and he was like, I'd be mad if you didn't.
Exactly. So
because he wants to help. His whole thing is to help, and the same with Janice in Kansas. And I know there are 1,000 Janices out there in all of our great United States that are here to help the veterans.
Absolutely.
And everybody.
So you guys, I hope this podcast was informational for you guys.
Me too.
I really do.
I really hope it was.
We really enjoy bringing you guys the information. Once again, dmwattspodcast@gmail.com. AJ, this one's for you. You guys feel free to throw us more topics that you want to hear about, that we may have talked about, that you guys just want to hear more of, or hey, throw them out there to us, and we'll bring it up on our podcast. But you guys know what it is: unapologetic, unscripted, unedited. So signing off for DM Watts and all the service dog in training. Hopefully you guys have looked us up on the YouTube or any of the other streaming services. But signing off, I'm Davie.
I'm Misti.
And we are DM Watts. So we'll see you guys next time.
And I bite.
Yep.
Beware.
Guys, take it easy. That's